All right, again, thanks so much. We have a good one for you, and we're ready to go. Y'all ready, gentlemen? All right, ladies. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome once again to the Thacker Mountain Radio Hour.
This song is for my mother, since I was telling you about it. The first thing I remember knowing was that lonesome whistle blowing, and a young man's dream of growing up to ride. On a freight train out of town, not knowing where I'm bound. But no one could steer me right, but Mama tried. I turned 21 in prison, doing a life without parole. No one could steer me right, but my mama tried. Mama tried, mama tried to teach me better, but I pleaded and I denied, and that leaves only me to blame, 'cause mama tried. Dear old daddy, rest his soul, left my mom heavy load, and she tried to do her best to fill his shoes, working hours without rest, wanted me to have the best, and she tried to do me right, but I refused. And I turned 21 in prison, doing a life without parole. And no one could steer me right, but mama tried, mama tried, mama tried to teach me better. But I plead and I denied, and that leaves only me to blame, 'cause mama tried. I turned 21 in prison, doing life without parole. And no one could steer me right, but my dear old mama. Mama tried to keep me better, but I pleaded and I denied, and that leaves only me to blame, 'cause mama. And that leaves only me to blame, 'cause mama, dear old mama, tried. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. My mother would prefer it if I didn't play a song like that. Anything that deals with prison or legal drinking age or something of that nature makes her a little bit uncomfortable. My mother's what you would call a Presbyterian Methodicostal. And I can see from the response in the room that we have several of them here tonight. Now, every denomination has their own set of rules, their own set of obligations. My mother used to say that a Methodist is probably the most upright of all the denominations in the world, because their only job is to pull you out of the gutter. Now that's an upright position. They pull you out of the gutter when you need it, and then they pass you along to the Presbyterians to teach you how to read. They give you a set of eyeglasses, and they teach you, these and thous and all that. And then the Presbyterians, they pass you on to the Episcopals to teach you about Jack Daniels and high society. At which point you're going to need another Methodist again. But we weren't Methodists, really. We were Baptists. Now, Southern Baptists are the kinds of people that, when you have the the pleasure of growing up that way. You learn all sorts of rules that you carry with you wherever you go. In fact, you probably saw me get up off that chair and get here behind the piano, and you could tell I was a Southern Baptist just by the way I walked. You could see it, I know it. It's a special walk. It's a walk that says we know how to carry a corncob without using our hands. We're the kind of people who don't believe in premarital relations because it could lead to dancing. Definitely a major drawback. Like most kids, I learned how to be in church. My mother would take me there whenever a mood hit her, and it would be any church. Presbyterian, Methodist, United Pentecostal, didn't matter. There was a church out in the woods, Pentecostal church, that taught my mother how to speak in tongues. She had never done that before, and the man who taught her how said, listen, it's real easy. All you got to do is pick the make and model of a Japanese manufactured vehicle and repeat it as often as you can. So one night at supper, my mother, my sister, and I, we were all holding hands around a bowl of my mother's famous ham bones and grains and cornbread, and she lifted her head to the sky and said, Mitsubishi, 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 Mitsubishi. She would prefer that I learn how to play church music because my mother loves church music. She loves songs like Old Rugged Cross and songs like Little Brown Church in the Vale and songs like There's Power in the Blood, which there are several different versions of. There's Power in the Blood. You can say the same lyrics, but you pronounce them a little bit differently. And when you do that, you get a very different regional southern version. For instance, in South Alabama, you would say there's power in the blood. Power. That's 2 syllables. You can fit all sorts of syllables in that. But if you go North Alabama, then you got power, P-A-R. So you have to fit in more powers when you sing the song. There's power, 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 power in the blood. We call that the holy machine gun. My mother, she had this job throwing newspapers, and we would show up at this little place early in the morning. We'd wrap these newspapers, and we'd sing together. And it was my job to throw, and she would turn the steering wheel like a crazy woman. And I would aim this paper, and I never had a very strong shoulder. My mother would say, put some shoulder into it next time. You got to at least pass the mailbox. And so one time I threw it as hard as I could, and that paper sailed through the air and hit a plate glass window. And my mother did what any God-fearing Baptist, Methodist, Presbyterian woman would do. She just kept on driving. And one morning after we were done throwing the papers, my mother looked at me. And she was a lifelong subscriber to the newspaper herself. She was reading the daily news. And she was reading this story. And she started to cry a little bit. I said, Mama, what are you doing? She said, well, this is a beautiful story. And it's funny. And it's happy. But it's also a little bit sad. And I just think one day I'd like it if you'd write about me. So I guess you could say that's what I've done. The song's for my mother. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better woman waiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. There's a better woman waiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Sean Dietrich, y'all. Let him hear you.